Well, the plan today was to get up at 3:30 a.m., go find a track, but I set my alarm clock for 3:30 p.m. So it's like 9 o'clock right now, and I've got to go try to find a track and then go hunt down that deer. So we'll see how it goes. It doesn't give me much time to work with for the rest of the day. I got about 5 hours, maybe 6 if I squeeze it. We got to make it happen here today. It's getting down to the wire. This is probably going to be the last tracking day of the whole entire season. It's kind of sad. And then I slept in. All right. Well, enough wasting time. Let's get after this. I decided to take a route into an area where there's a much lower deer density. I like this option right now better because we're on day 2 of snow, and yesterday I was in an area with high deer density and it was so hard to stay on a track. With this deeper snow, it all kind of caves in, so you can't really follow a specific track very easily unless it's a lot more fresh than all the other tracks. So I'm trying this out, see if I can't pick up a track here in a low deer density area that would give me a better chance to stay with that deer and just go from there. Holy cow, look at all them wolf tracks. Sheepers creepers. Just drove a 5-mile road, and during that entire distance I never saw one single deer track crossing the road, but the entire length of the road I had these wolves running up and down this road the entire time. You know, that's one of the challenges these deer up here face, is hunting pressure nonstop, and sometimes I wonder if they avoid the roads because they know that that's where the coyotes can easily run and cover and cut country. Well, it's been a pretty rough stretch here trying to find a track. There's not many deer down here. Like, really bad. In this last section of road that I've driven since the last update, which has probably been 15 miles or so, I think I've cut 3 separate tracks. And this one that I'm on right here is a small track, but interestingly, there's a wolf track that's right on top of it. So that's the deer track. That's the wolf track. I just found a buck track. It's not real fresh though. Probably was made yesterday night. The plow came through and plowed over it, but I know it's a buck track because I come over here, and as it's crossing, you can see some pea spots. So first of all, there's pea spots all along right there. You got there. So it's like he's dribbling as he's walking. And it looks like a fairly decent track, just punched through the snow. But I don't really know if I'm gonna be able to catch up to a deer like that if he's that far ahead. I may just have to take it no matter what, but I'm gonna just cruise around just a little bit more, make sure he didn't cross and leave a fresher track. All right, I'm headed back to go take up that track. I just don't have enough time to look further, even though this isn't a real fresh track. I'm hopeful that with it being wintertime, he's not going to have traveled real far, and it's a very low deer density area, so I shouldn't have too many issues following his track. I just got to hope he doesn't get into a mess of other deer back there, but it's probably over 24-hour-old track, so not the most ideal one to go after, but it's 11 o'clock right now and I can only hunt till about 2:30, so I can't keep dinking around here. I got to get on something and go after it. Interestingly, this is in the exact same area that I tracked a buck. I've actually got that film up on the channel. Nice buck that I hunted back there a couple years ago. Had trail camera pictures of him, and I don't think it would be the same deer. If it was, then he'd be like super stinking old. But if it is him, then it'd be like, whoa. But it's like literally the exact spot. It's like my little honey hole area out here that I always find buck tracks crossing there. So yeah, well, we'll give it a shot. So the road is just right up over here. He's been shadowing this so far. And he's feeding, nipping off some of the buds on just little shrubs and brush right along the side here. Alright, so here's a little bit of a look at his track. Doesn't look real huge, but it's a track. The other thing that's a little bit concerning is that there is some snow. I don't know if that's just what caved in or if that was from the snowfall that happened yesterday evening. So he may have come through here at that like 2 a.m. yesterday, or maybe 5 a.m. at the latest. But that's what it appears to be. As you can see, this is fairly thick stuff that he's walking through. But then all of a sudden, his tracks go down this little channel, this little chute. That tells me this is probably a buck that's spent some time here, and he knows that this is the easiest route. This is thick, 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 and thick all over there, but there's a little opening right there. So he's standing right here feeding. And I'm like, what is he feeding on? Is it this thing? No. It's the balsam tips. Look at that. Right there. He nipped that off. And he nipped those off too. Wow. That's interesting. We have our very first poop pile. He's headed out into this slashing, and I think that he's going to do a lot of feeding and maybe even bed up in here somewhere. Well, I don't really like that he walked between those things. That's not a good sign. It could mean that he's shed his antlers. But there is this twig that is snapped off, so maybe his antlers busted that as he went through. Either that or he was nibbling on it. I don't know. It's hard to say. I just came upon the first bed. He's got lots of tarsal pea all over in it. So he's definitely spent some time here. I think that he bedded in this thing twice, because there's his tarsal pea on that side, and then it's on this side, and I got tracks coming in this way here, and I got tracks exiting this way. So sitting in the bed here, this is what he sees. He's right on the edge of, you got clear cut over here and all back this way, but then you've got open timber here / old cut over that way. And so he's got a little bit of a view. He's nipping on some buds even when he's in the bed sleeping. But he's got good thick cover behind him. Not much for thermal cover here though. He nipped on a bunch of these buds right here in this bed. You can see them all over the place that he nipped them off. It's funny how he'll even be laying down feeding. I still don't have any confirmation that he's got headgear still, but that's a classic sign of a buck. Oh yeah, stinky. Stinky, stinky. We've definitely made up some ground on him here. You know, he spent quite a few hours in this spot. He melted all the way to the ground, so he was there for a while. So his bed is right there, and he circled out of the bed here and came right up here. And to this point right now, he's pooped 3 separate times in that little span right there. So that's like one of the first things they do when they get out of bed is they poop. And so key in on that. If you're seeing a lot of poop somewhere, you're either right in their feeding spot or you're right in their bedding spot, because they don't go very far to poop. It happens right then and there. This right there is his 5th time pooping since he exited the bed 50 yards ago back over there. That's where he was bedded. swung around, bedded, pooped 3 times there, pooped another time in between, and then now just pooped again. And a 6th poop pile, all within about 70 yards of his bedding spot. Pile number 7. And this is all within about 100 yards or so, 120 yards maybe at this point. Interesting thing here, which is really cool. That tree right there, I hunted that. He walked right in front of it where I hunted that 2 years ago. Would you look at that? Poop pile number 8. How much poop does this guy got in him? Pile number 9, and a bed right there. Well, I think we made up a little more ground on him. He shifted in this bed a couple times because you got tarsal pea right there. Oh, this bed stinks. I can smell it. He's got some tarsal pea up in there too. He melted it all the way to the ground. He spent a lot of time there. His track looks decent. You know, it's nothing too fancy. You know, decent track. That's pretty good, actually. And would you look at that? Another poop pile. And another poop pile. And another poop pile. Are you sick of me pointing out every poop pile yet? Because I'm not. So I noticed this little bit of hair. I was like, what the heck? Come up and look. He got hooked on a stick. His nose in here and here. I don't really see any tine marks. Maybe his antlers didn't touch, but right now this doesn't look real promising. I got a pea spot here. Classic buck pea with dribble marks exiting. Whew, stinkies. So right over there is where he peed. He circled around. Came through here, and there's still pea spots. So that tells me it's probably peed on his hocks. You know, it's still dribbling down on the snow because it's catching on the snow and it's falling down. He took me into this like little tamarack island. Just a little mound raised up in here. I don't think that's a bed. I think he just... Yeah, he might have bedded there. I don't know. But he potted up to get at some of that moss that's down there. I think that's the stuff he was eating. Or maybe it was some of these green leafy things. I don't know. But you can see his tracks right there too. But then there's a bed right there. If you guys notice my little twanger thing on my finger there. If it annoys you, too bad. And here's his bed. You can see the tarsal stain. He's got pretty good sized tracks in there. Walking tracks exiting. Yeah, it's pretty frozen, so this is still a pretty old bed. You know, when they are bedded in a spot like this, they melt that snow. And then they stand up and it's soft, and so their print gets really good in those spots. And another poop spot. This deer has evacuated his bowels. I've never seen so much poop in one area from one deer. Holy smokes. Alright, so this buck came into this tree. It's got mushrooms. And right back here, he started like running. And then he started just walking. I think that he must have been running because he smelled the scent of this tree and was like, oh, food, mushrooms. So he comes walking in here and he tore this place apart. That looks like a mushroom that he peeled away right there. Ripped that thing off and was eating it. He didn't go after this one for whatever reason, but he liked that one. He was in the mood for it. And I think I might see some tine marks. Kind of looks like a tine mark right there and a tine mark right there. You know, his nose would have been down in there, eating at some of that stuff for it to hit right there. And that almost looks like a tine mark right there in the snow. I just don't know for sure. Kind of looked like tine marks there. And tine marks there. And there's some little markings right there. I think this may be a buck that's still holding. It doesn't look like anything real impressive, but he's got antlers. This looks like one of his early season rubs that he just walked past. Him for sure, but I think it's gotta be him. As soon as I saw those beds, I was like, oh, I need to slow down. No more had I thought that and reached for the camera. And I just wish I could have got a look at his antlers, see if he had any headgear. But it was just a whirl and turn and thick nasty brush, and he was running through it. If I'd had a rifle, I could have rattled off a shot. I mean, nothing would have touched him because it was so thick, but I could have at least fired a bullet, at him. It would have been Texas heart shot style, but man, this is so much fun. You cannot beat this. You cannot beat this. I don't think I spooked him too bad because he ran off and was blowing and was kind of like, what the heck was that? He never really saw me. He just saw a little movement and heard me walking. Here's a bed. That was clearly him. I was just right there when I popped over the hill. And this bed is just 25 yards away. It's a pretty good sized track there. The hunt that I had today was the first time all season that I actually saw the buck that I was after. I gave it a valiant effort this year. Went to multiple states, hung out with Todd Havel, and he taught me some things. And I mean, I put more time on the track this year than I have in all the other years probably combined. I'm really thankful to the Lord for letting me be able to get out and do this kind of hunting and being able to experience His creation and just the animals that He made. It's incredible. I just absolutely love this.